Does God exist? Find out today. Thank you so much for joining us. We are continuing this study as we look at these 4 questions. Does truth exist? Now, tonight, does God exist? So we're going to use some logic. We're going to go through this, wrestle through this discussion. Question: did space, matter, and time have a beginning? Did they start? So it's been proven, most accepted in most scientific communities, that there was a time when they believed in the steady state idea, that space, matter, and time, that they've always been. And scientists actually held fast to that even when evidence started coming out the contrary. Evidence started coming out that there was a beginning, and their biggest reason they didn't want to go that way is they said it gave too much credit, too much evidence, too much support for the creation side of things, for the biblical side of things. So most people in the scientific community, in the Christian community, in the world in general, believe and agree that space, matter, and time all had a beginning. So if space, matter, and time had a beginning, then that means someone or something outside of space, matter, and time had to step in to make them, to put them together. Picture this: the Mona Lisa. Who here has seen the Mona Lisa? Who here saw it get painted? I know, my kids think I'm pretty old, but I didn't see the Mona Lisa get painted. But we can all agree that the Mona Lisa had a painter, had someone with intelligence, with thought, who stepped in. The paints didn't just squiggle themselves around, but someone outside of the paints with a picture in their head, or they saw someone, they were painting something. They were utilizing the paints to make something, but the paints didn't do it of themselves. Picture this one: the Golden Gate Bridge. There's some awesome stuff if we had time to dig into the Golden Gate Bridge, but not right now. But the Golden Gate Bridge, did it have a builder, a designer? Did it have workers who actually put it together? Again, none of us saw it actually happen, but history records it, and even more than history, the fact that it exists today is proof that someone outside of the bridge itself, outside of the materials, stepped in and built it. And it had a lot of design and a lot of intelligence behind it because of its complexity. Now, when we look at the universe around us, when we look at everything from in the microscope, in the telescope, looking out there, all of the vast intricacies and how the planetary alignments and how the Earth is in the perfect, they call it the Goldilocks zone. If it was closer to the sun, we would all burn up. If it was further from the sun, we would all freeze. With the moon actually orbiting at just the right spot, with the planets around us that are taking most of the meteors and asteroids and stuff, so Earth doesn't get hit. It's in this Goldilocks zone that makes water be able to be everywhere. We've yet to find other planets that have water like we have. All of these vast things. Then looking in the microscope and looking at the cell and how it works together and the different parts of the cell. We don't have time right now, but just one part of the cell is called the mitochondria, which is looked at as the powerhouse of the cell. And the closest thing it can be related to is an electric car engine, where it's taking in electricity as fuel and combining it with these chemicals, and it's producing power. Now, you would never expect to see a Tesla that just built itself. We all agree that someone stepped in and built it. We all must agree that someone outside of space, matter, and time had to step in to build this world we have around us, to build life itself. Another way to look at this: whatever begins to exist had a cause. the universe began to exist. Therefore, the universe had a cause, or someone outside of itself. Now, if we're talking about someone who is spaceless, he's outside of space, timeless, not held by time, immaterial, not of a material being, he's powerful enough to make everything, to give it energy, personal because it takes a person to choose to create, and intelligence because of the vast amount of intelligent design that's involved in this. Again, when we think of a spaceless, timeless, immaterial, powerful, personal, intelligent being, who do we call him? Well, most of us call him God. That is exactly who the God of the Bible is talking about. One last part. So many people say, well, there couldn't be a God, at least not a good God, because look at all this evil around us. So one thing about evil, most people who are against God, they point to evil as being a reason they're against God. But in reality, evil is actually proof that there is a good God. The only way that evil can be labeled as evil is because we have something to compare it with, something that is good. Since we know what good is, then we can label evil as evil. So the existence of evil is actually proof that there is a good God. It's the opposite. We would never see it any other way. So to wrap it up here, since space, matter, and time exist, since good and evil exist, we must conclude that there is a spaceless, timeless, immaterial, powerful, personal, intelligent creator to them. And this is who we call God. I sure love you guys.